up.
I don't think it's quite freezing temperature, but it's a 2-jacket territory. A little bit of snow on the ground from last week's storm. We are doing an oddball today. Green job. Got a couple trees right in the middle of this guy's lawn. You guys probably haven't seen it yet, but we bought a new sawmill. So we're going into that venture. So I literally got this dump trailer to haul saw logs, something. So that's gonna be sweet, so let's get this unloaded. Bring it back. Ain't stock is still weight. Down stuff to protect the blacktop, and then I got to put down the little blocks so we don't do wheelies. We got multiple machines on this job. We got the skid steer, we got the Mecalac, we got the dump trailer, we got a crane, and number of personnel in order to get a couple of these hazard trees down from around this house. All of them have to work together in order to make jobs like this happen. You wouldn't think the skid steer is a big part, but that's brush cleanup. The excavator or the Mecalac, that's in order to get the logs and the material out of the drop zone into the mulching zone and stage the logs in order to be picked up by the dump trailer. So that it all works together. Now, if one of them's not working, it pretty much shuts the whole job down. It's like one chain link missing out of it. You know, your bicycle ain't gonna pedal no more. So we get rolling with the crane, go to fire the Mecalac up. She knows start. I quickly start going through diagnostic kind of stuff, troubleshooting. I'm gonna throw a jump pack on it right off the kick to see if, hey, we got a dead battery. Simple. Nope. Complete dead key. Check fuses, dead key, dead key. Get the dealer on the phone, see if they get them involved. Rick, parts guy down at Global Sacramento, answered on vacation. Very thankful for that. He started making some calls, got a hold of a couple other guys, Jim, Travis down there, start figuring this thing out. In the meantime, this job's got to keep going. So I disconnect the dump trailer, run home, grab the gooseneck and the other excavator, and we get this job rolling. While I'm working, moving these logs, I'm just going through my head thinking, what in the world is going on with the Mecalac? And then it dawned on me, a couple months back, I had torn apart underneath the seat in order to tighten up the air conditioner box because it was sucking a little bit of dust. And there's a bulkhead connection down there that was just laying. It was supposed to be tied up, but the last guy that worked on the air conditioner didn't decide to put the bolts back in it to secure that. But I had to unplug it for various reasons, and I noticed one of the terminals in there, one of the power leads, was slightly roasting. And I'm thinking, man, there's no way. Maybe that got even hotter and burned up that connection, and we're not getting power through to the key. Sure enough, if I hadn't done that before, I would have had no idea what's wrong with this machine, and I probably wouldn't have figured it out that day. The machine would have sat there for more days. But I opened her up, wiggled her around, cleaned up that connection, plugged her back together, and at least the machine started. So I brought it back to the house, and we're gonna fix it here because there's actually an update for this. So I'm outside right now. We're actually running on generator power, so to hear that, now you know. There is I would consider it a recall. If your machine's out of warranty, I believe this thing should be, at least the parts should be delivered to you for free. That's my opinion on it. But basically, you're gonna run a bigger wire from the power up through the cab with a new disconnect in the fuse panel, and that should resolve this issue. It was just at the end of the day too small of a wire. But another thing to note, since I've had this machine and other Mecalacs I ran beforehand, I don't know if the newer model had it, but if the battery light on the dash was on, then you would have this issue potentially. And it ties together with your air conditioner system, so if you turn your AC off, the battery light will go away, and you turn the air conditioner back on, the battery light stays off. And that happens, you can get the battery light to go out, you know, about half the time doing that. But it's had that since the beginning. They said there was a recall for it, and that recall ended up being something needed to be done already because the machine wouldn't start. But obviously it started and drove into the shop. So let's go ahead and start tearing into this thing and run this jumper wire. Here's the piece that comes with it. You got two wires, a little shorty. I believe this one will go to your fuse panel in the back of the cab and just run down. And here's the long one that will go over to your main power supply, which is on the complete opposite side of the machine. Now, I'm not an electrician and know gauges very well past, you know, like 10 gauge, but I'm going to say this is a 8 or a 6 gauge, whatever that turns into. What's in there right now, I'm gonna say at best maybe a 12. So this is a huge upgrade. I'm looking forward to getting this in, and hopefully this fixes our issue so the machine can get back out on the job, make some money. I do want to mention the Global Machinery I got this thing from. Very helpful on this whole process. The main parts guy down there, Rick, he actually answered his phone when I called him when he was on vacation, forwarded a couple things through, and Jim Cunningham, I believe Travis is the guy that was on the phone overseas with Mecalac Direct trying to figure out what this issue was, and they were willing to overnight the part that day. But I said, listen, I already got another machine on the job, save the money, we don't need to put 120, 100, I don't know how much overnight it would be, but let's just go 1 week shipping standard, and we'll get it when we get it. I got another machine to go. But I'm not saying I'm covering up for anybody, covering up for Mecalac. I want this information to go out there for anybody that has one of these machines. So if they have this issue or the machine shuts down, this is something I believe that you could actually just update yourself after watching my video, because it's going to be very easy to. I've already opened up the fuse panel and realized where I need to hook it into, and just run a bigger jumper all the way over to power supply. But you got to be careful which part of the power supply you hook onto, what amperage, circuitry, you know, with breakers and everything. Careful. This is just part of the game, guys. I'm just glad that they actually had a fix remedy in mind to take care of a problem like this. Directions are a little bit vague on how this is supposed to work, but there's a pillar right here, and obviously wires are coming out of it into it, so I just ran it straight up through there, popped her up through the top, and then there's our main new wire. So we got to hook that onto, I'll show you on the instructions. And I'll try to snap a photo of this thing with the old wire so you can do a little comparison. Where's it at? Where's it at? Hands are a little cold. So it showed where to hook it on. Oh, right here. So the big one, X30, big dog, and there's an X15 over there. So when you're looking at your machine, X30, this qualifies for, so I better show that. So MCRs with serial number, that procedure, you just have to hit pause on that. We got stuff to do. Up there somewhere. Wait, pine needles poking me in the face. Hey, there's that bolt that I lost. That thing goes to the top of the hydraulic reservoir. We replaced it though. Now this is starting to make a lot more sense for their illustrations. Their illustrations have no counterweight or anything in the way. But where the hell's the wire at? That lip. Oh, hey, look. There's the starter. Found a starter. Hey, look at that now. Got it through. So right here's our main power supply. Here's my new wire. Find a spot here. Maybe it is 10 gauge. That guy down there, I don't know, it's close. But you see that red one? That's what you're going to replace. Main power bridge right here, and then you go off a 60 amp fuse right there. So we're gonna put that right on there. That actually came out perfect right in there. Almost like a kit was made for it. I guess this is the route that they want you to do with this. Just comes down through here, the weather tight connector. But whew, now we just got to hook some stuff up, but running that thing was the difficult part, I guess. They claim it's a 2-hour job to do this. I'm into it. Half hour, 45 minutes or so right now, but I still got to put it together. So 2-hour boat, not bad. In all honesty, I shouldn't have to say this, but yeah, make sure your battery is turned off or disconnected. Or in the case of what I'm doing, both. Long-winded devil. Come on now. Careful where I put you guys, can't see. There we go. Get the nut, get the washer. Because if this little guy is the one that's getting hot up in there, why should I ever reconnect it? You know what I mean? Come on, stop trying. It's like magnetized to go back in the box. Stay out of the box. At least this is in somewhat of a spot I can get to. Just happy there's a remedy. Happy they acknowledge that there's an issue with the system and have figured out a way to retrofit. Yeah. My ratchet's too big. Oh, I can't ratchet around that easily. There we go. Go in your home. Oh, alright, let's hook the other end up. Well, I went up there, hooked everything up, turned the key on, nothing happened. So evidently that little red wire, we still need that in play, which seems weird. So what we're gonna do is obviously put it back in play, and then that spot that got hot, I don't know if it burned the connector just a little bit, but I'm gonna go ahead and, because basically we're trying to throw too much amperage through that circuit. That's why they put this secondary on there. It's a factory fail, we'll be honest. But if I do this and then put a little bit of grease on that one, any of the fail spot, I'm hoping won't have to, you know, be super addressed. I was hoping it would just bypass that whole thing, but it doesn't appear to be the case. Some people say don't use grease, but if you got a weird connection, little corrosion or something in the mix, grease will fix that. Sure. I'm gonna go southpaw with this one. Oops. Honestly, wish this had been knowledge that I had known, you know, right off the kick. It's almost like buying a used Dodge pickup. Transmission been worked on? Yeah. Oh, sweet. I'll take it. Man, you push that thing in there, and then you pull this lever and it pulls the thing together. I know you guys can't see, but I'm trying. But if I put a little bit of grease in there, it would help the connection in the beginning, and also put this other wire on there so they could, you know, distribute some of that load. We'd have been good to go. Over there. So I believe it's a, hell yeah, see the lights on right now. Let's see if it kicks off right when you fire it off. Hey! It never does that. That battery light on the top left is, as far as I can tell, it's not on. Woo! Alright. Time to put in my 60 bolts back in here. I've had this whole cab apart quite a bit. Well, everything's a-okay. Fingers crossed. Don't worry about that little guy. That little guy, don't worry about him. Look at me, I'm a bobcat. I can do 360s. I can do 360s. Power's back on. Why do I always end up with so many pallets? Bonfire time. I didn't smooth out this gravel pile right here because this is Callahan, my boy. That's his playground right there. He's got his tractor's dump truck, excavator, he's got mass shovel, football. He's got everything you need for a standard operation. Well, it feels like weather's moving back in just a little bit, which is nice. Check it out up there. Look, we're getting a nice fog layer rolling in. Well, how about that? She seems to be back in action. Every function working. I think there was a couple things that were a little iffy before that I think that straightened out. The ground for the horn, I need to address that, but I got to take the panels back off on the front because it's clicking the relay, but the horn ain't doing hornage. I messed with it before and it fixed it, but I think I'm gonna put one off of a truck on there so you can hear it. But check out this little bit of work I did. This used to be a retaining wall right here with a bunch of railroad ties. I have no idea what it was for, loading dock or something. I used to have that little bobcat just sitting up there like a little trophy shelf. Very annoying. Don't know why I was there, but I was just gonna smooth this out, but then I dug into it and realized there's a whole dump truck load of gravel there. So what I did with this rig, compared to if I had a skid steer, because I got a turret and a skid steer bucket. So what are you doing? Burn out my driveway. Easy. I can just shuttle straight back and forth and I don't have to turn the tracks, dig into the ground. If you did this with a skid steer, you'd have this whole area turned up, trying to rotate in to scoop out of the bank. And literally, I'm gonna say, I don't know how many scoopfuls I hold out of here, 6 or 7. They probably weighed, 1,000, 1,500, maybe 2,000 pounds per scoop. It was enough that it was tipping the machine over, scooping it out all the way. And that thing is a very, very balanced machine I'm just trying to point out something that your regular excavator couldn't do. In the week or so that I hadn't had this on jobs, I'd been using the 080, which is your standard, you know, the Kubota excavator. You'll see it down here. You know, it does the job without a doubt. Like, no complaints really. But it's just weird, the difference in just functionality, speed and everything. But it's a little bit rough down through here. I went and made the mistake of hauling the gravel. This is all stuff that was there. Smoothed it out like a skid steer. But I wanted to get some on the road over there. And, well, I tracked in a couple of times and made a mud mess out of it. But I didn't know that there was going to be more than 1 or 2 scoopfuls there. So we got 2 over there, right? Yeah, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6, something like that. Scoops out of that bank. I'd say that's a good 10-wheeler load. That Mecalec's got I believe it's a 91-inch bucket. So I wanted to get this corner done up just a little bit there for tracking down in here, but man, I messed her up. Oh well. But I just want to get this video out there. I'm still very happy with the Mecalac. I couldn't honestly say I want to go back to a regular excavator after running that rig. They do make a bigger one than that, which would be sweet. So for those of you guys that are thinking, well, the 22,000 pound machine's too small, you know, I'm coming from the 080, which is, I don't know, some stickers say 18, some say 20, I don't know. But I've ran that thing for the last like 5 years, and it's got me to where I'm at now. Literally, that machine's probably responsible for a lot of this. Then we got the bigger excavator, but that thing's just too big to get into all these jobs. And that Mecalac, man, its platform condenses down to something even smaller than the 080. It fits underneath power lines without a problem. I mean, just look at the boom height right there. It just tucks down so well, and it's quick. But that turn and burn functions here, spreading this gravel, can't beat it. Fix that one little wire. Hopefully, it should remain solid. But I'm pretty happy about it. Notice I've been doing a little bit of work around the house here. All of that was all wooded because they don't want people to be able to see the house. But I did it in little windrows so that it still blocks it. And then it takes down the, I guess, the fire danger. Then down here by the pond, cleaned up around here. I already did all that last year. This whole thing was all filled up. Mulched that with the 080 and the CMOF mulcher head up through this little gully. That was all full. Trying to get a little bit of the fire danger away from the shop because there's high dollar classics right there and inside the shop. So try to keep the fire danger away from them, but still trying to keep the privacy there. We're off on a different tangent. Thank you guys for watching. Comment what you think about this whole setup. Still loving the Mecalac. Man, I'll tell you what, I'll find something to break on everything. I'll find stuff that nobody else has broken before, and I'll do it countless times again. No matter what machine. It seems like I'm gifted at that. We'll see you guys. Thanks for watching. Later.